What's going on, guys? It's another episode of DWE Radio, episode 26. WWE is in the mud. That's right. We're talking about the Raw episode here. We're going to talk about some SummerSlam stuff. Welcome to DWE Radio, the radio that's not on the. Guess what? We're on Spotify, we're on Twitch, and we're on Talk It Up podcast. If you are new here, please give us a follow on X. That's DWE Radio on X. Um, DWTV on X, and also Miami Great 305 on X. Thank you for coming in. Please give us a subscribe on YouTube. That's Talking Up Podcast on YouTube. We are live here on YouTube. Go over there and give us a like and subscribe. Leave us some comments. Hit that subscribe button if you can. Thank you for joining us. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to get into today. We're going to talk about the Monday episode of Raw here today. It's a couple things that I feel like now we're at Friday. Everyone, I would say we're calmed down, but all the feelings and everything is kind of calmed down. Everyone, everything is not the same as how we felt Monday. We'll definitely talk about a lot of things that happened on Monday with the stuff that's going on. As we talk about everything that happened with the Monday show. Like I said, we have a lot to talk about. The one reason why I think I named this title the WWE is in the mud because a lot of the stuff that happened, these go home shows, we are used to a lot of go home shows not being quite almost like what we see today. I think we have talked about always, WWE not being at the forefront of being where they need that. I think we are not what we should be at. We go to home shows. Main topic here I'm gonna talk about is the Danhausen and Joe Henry segment. I think we should talk. I think that will be something we will talk about here. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about being baby face that might be as with the booking. Like I say with some things we're going to definitely talk about that. Get into some things about damn about what they are doing right, what they are doing. I think the main thing is just I think yes, we always have had this conversation of you know um, how WWE the booking of WWE has been. Um, I think the stuff that's been going on in WWE. I think we're going to share our thoughts with you guys. I think, like I said, on here on DWE Radio, I want to be the voice of the IWC and also give y'all opinions too. Do not be afraid to give us your opinion. We will read your comment. Also, don't forget that we also do call-ins. If you also would like to be a caller, and we will see you at StreamYard link and give us your thoughts. I mean, let us hear your thoughts. Like I said, we cannot do this without you alone. Like I said, we'll talk about um,
Yeah, just so you know, you might have to leave and come back because no one can hear you.
Yeah,
You're in and out. It's bad.
thing to talk about.
Yeah, we can't hear nothing that you're saying at all. So just so you know. But yeah, so I think what Miami was trying to say is that yeah, we're gonna talk about uh the go home show for Raw for SummerSlam. We're gonna talk about I guess we're gonna talk about SummerSlam too. We got SmackDown tonight, which is the official of official, the official of official. It's official. Um, go home show for SummerSlam. And you know, SummerSlam has been promoted since last year. We know it was going to be another 2 night event. Um, you know, we this is probably on the list of WWE's one of their biggest shows. You know, other than WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and I would say now Chamber as well. Survivor Series somewhere in there, but SummerSlam is one of their 2 night shows. Um, you know, looking from the outside in, if you look at the card, looking at night one looks pretty good. Um, because we got the Nick Aldis and Gunther match. I'm excited for that. We of course have what else is on night one? We have the Cody and Punk, I believe, is also on night one. I think that had a okay build to it. Um, we got the Io Sky and Live. I also believe that's on night one as well. Or is that on night two? I'm not sure about the Io Sky and Live. Um, and we also it looks like we also have the Brock and Oba match, which is a cage match on night one. So looking at night one, it looks pretty good. Of course, the biggest match for night two is of course the Seth and Romans match, and of course that's going to main event. So looking at those few matches, like wow, it is a pretty stacked card. But then you can look at the other matches. We have like a Franken team, um, Royce Keys and whatnot against I guess what they would be the rest of the bloodline, like minus Roman. We have um Paige with the Bellas, who I love the Bellas. I like Paige against Fatal Influence, which should be, a big thing because we got 3 returning legends, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and Paige, which all 3 recently returned legends, including with Nikki, who just returned back last week. She was out with that ankle injury for quite some time. Um, but just the build of them, even though, they were tag team champions up until very recently and lost to the Fatal Influence, I just feel like yes, they should be in the tag team because it's, multiple of them, 3 of them right now. But I also feel like it kind of diminishes like their build, right? Like they're not in that main women's feud just yet, which, hey, that probably will come. I do expect a turn, and we'll talk about that when we go over the SummerSlam predictions, but it doesn't feel like it's a big match. Um, just based on booking. We also have what is it, Tiffany, Jade, and Charlotte having a match. That doesn't feel like it's a big match to me either. So I don't feel like night two has the same as night one. And usually the night two is supposed to be the bigger card. That's how it is, at least for WrestleMania. I guess it's not the same for this year. Um, and then the Oba and Brock match. Like, yeah, it's a big match. It's in Hell in a Cell. The story that that they're telling is that Brock has never lost a cage match, a cage style match. And it is in Brock's hometown, so that's a narrative that they've been selling, and I just feel like, and I think and I think we've been hearing this with a lot of people, that it was the Brock and Oba stuff was so big during WrestleMania. We got that very weird ending with Brock held up the X and appears to be retired, and he came back and he found out it was all a fluke. And this might actually be his actual retirement match. Like, we don't know. But that's what we are assuming based on the style of match it is. He never lost a cage match, and it's in his hometown. And Brock, even though he looks great, is on the higher age scale. But I feel like they're also, I feel like they're just riding off the wave of WrestleMania, because we had this is not their third match together, and technically, yes, you want to win two to beat the other person, because they each won one. Oba won a match, he Brock won a match, so this would be like basically that tiebreaker. But I don't feel like it has the same oomph. We're gonna go through our SummerSlam predictions later on, but I do want to talk about Raw. And so before I do that, I want to make sure that Miami is here.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, there you go. Now you can hear you better now. So let's talk about Raw now that we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I was discussing. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about. I think the thing that everyone was most frustrated about, and that's the Danhausen and Joe Henry segment, final boss. Very
LOL.
disappointed. I'm not. Huh?
LOL, lols, haha emoji. It's like,
Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't good. I mean, the whole segment gave off, and I know we heard. Shouts out to WrestleTalk. You talked to me about this before we did the show. They even asked. I even said it too to myself. Is Vince McMahon back? Because it gave off Vince McMahon as. I know a lot of people left when WWE
uh-oh.
has been the worst we've been since the pandemic. I know a lot of people left, went over to AEW because the product was just so bad. Because one, Raw was 3 hours, and then most people was going to sleep on it, things like that. But this right here, Final Boss was just like, I mean, it's getting to a point. I'm not gonna lie. I've started back watching more AEW than WWE because it's been so bad. WWE has been so bad. This one segment turned me off. We know we had the boxer get in the ring because he was acting like he was with Joe
So
Henry
that's
and that.
Ryan Garcia, by the way.
Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah, Ryan Garcia, the boxer. I know we had him. He came in. He did a piece where he was dancing around the ring. They had the dancers. They had the midgets and things like that. Um, like I said, it didn't serve no purpose. I'm going to get into the next thing of what we got after that, which is one thing I told you I hate, which is the money on the pole match. I'll give my thoughts about that. But what you thought about this segment, Final Boss, about this whole Joe
Well,
Henry and Dan Housley stuff?
well, first of all, it's human monies on the pole. Remember, WWE, they did file a trademark for that term. It's human monies. And it depends, how you look at it. We know what happened later on when Judgment Day came in and interfered with the concert. But there's a lot of pieces to it. The first part of it is that they've been kind of pushing this curse thing with Judgment Day, and they took their money, and they've been pushing this for weeks, really months now. They really have. They kind of stopped, and they've been pushing it recently. Of course, last week. Um, we got the implosion of it where the suitcase was thrown and hit Oba backstage, and that led to a match with JD versus Oba. Oba absolutely destroyed him. So we've been, and Liv Morgan also is a part of that story because it's part of their money for Judgment Day. So it's kind of been something that's building up. So technically, on paper, this is now a payoff. This is now payoff to long-term booking, technically. And technically, we're going to have that implosion officially on SummerSlam when we do this human money's on the pole match. So technically it is a payoff. Technically it is long-term story booking. Is it good? Is it a good story for good long-term booking? No. This is not what we're looking for. And well, first, I am not a fan of little people, right? Not a fan. Now, I'm not talking about them just in the real world in general. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is the use of them now consecutively every time. I got it when they had them during WrestleMania. That was cool, a cheap pop. But now, like every time Danhausen, has a match or want to do interference, it's always like little people. Like, when are we gonna move away from that? Like, is the truth is you guys want to put him with somebody, but not quite sure who to put him with yet? Is that what it is? Because they continuously to have these little people who are, not wrestlers, who are just used as props and objects every time Danhausen gets into a little bit of a pickle, and it's not funny. It would have been good, at that one pop off, during WrestleMania, we had the little airplane. Let me know that was so cute. It was funny, but now them doing it every single opportunity now is getting old. It's getting old. It's getting old. It's getting old fast. Um, and shout out to Russell Talk for saying this. Because as we know, based on the vignettes, and they are very good vignettes, and they haven't had good vignettes in a while, but the vignette for Big Cast is pretty good. The vignette has all the highlights of this controversies about being hard to work with and being on steroids. There's like newspaper articles that flash up. It's a really good vignette of him up and coming. But we also know part of the reason why he was released was there was an incident where, when he had this whole thing on SmackDown where a little person came out. He was supposed to do like a simple movement and leave, but he turned into a big beat down. He did the big boot, and it caused a lot of heat for him backstage. It's kind of weird that now he's returning. One of the things he's known for doing, off script was beating down a little person on SmackDown, and now all of a sudden we have Danhausen having little people come around quite often. Maybe they're planning something with Big Cass and these little people, to get a pop of, okay, we'll remember, what one of the things that Big Cass was in trouble for, right? So maybe that's the goal. I don't know. If it's not the goal, I don't know what they're doing. As far as the Joe Henry part, Joe Henry, he was so big initially. This was a guy who a couple WrestleManias ago, had like a quick, had like a spontaneous match against returning Randy Orton because he was so big, interest wise was so big. But I feel like WWE, they missed the mark on him once again, because right after that match he had with Randy Orton, he should have been called up. He should have been called up. He should have, well, technically moved over to WWE and put on the main roster. Instead, we waited almost 2 years now, and now we're calling him up, and he's a maintenance guy, and you're pairing him with Danhausen, he was over. I think he's still over, but it's slowly starting to fizzle because we like Danhausen, but we don't like all the things that put him with little people and putting him in like these weird acts, and it's just overconsumption of him. He should be safe for special occasions. He shouldn't be someone that's used that often. And they're using him every week, putting him some kind of segment, usually with him either doing something backstage with the clone machine. I swear to God, they better not bring out that clone machine for SummerSlam. I swear to God, because I'd be like the 100th time we don't see them use it. Um, hell, he used it on Saturday Night Main Event, which actually was a good thing because that come out from the Knicks, so that was pretty cool, pretty funny. But I mean, other than that, I mean, that's how we've seen him to be used. Unfortunately, I feel like Joe Henry has lost his oomph to him. Now Ryan Garcia, I've heard him before. I know he's a big time boxer. I know he's covered a lot of not so great things, about racism and a lot of opinions that are not great. Um, and so to have someone like that here with the controversy, I don't know. But I don't think it got as much of a pushback just because a lot of people don't watch boxing anymore. So I think that's why. Um, but yeah, wasn't a fan of the of the segment. And Joe Henry, I'm gonna ask you this, Miami, before I continue. Do you consider Joe Henry to be a big guy physically, or no?
Um, physically, um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. What you mean by big as in
Mm,
muscle wise, body wise?
yeah, yeah. As far as height
Um,
and physique.
um, I wouldn't say he's big. Because you don't have a lot of guys. I see what you're getting at. You're talking about the whole classic Vince McMahon look. Let's just call it what it is because Vince used to be big on guys like that. Think about it. You had the Hulk Hogan's, you had the Bruno San Martinos and things like that. Triple H, The Rock. I mean, they all was kind of that big guy. I don't think so. Joe Hammer's not doesn't give me that big guy type of feel. So no, I would say no, final boss.
Okay. So with that being said, now it's important to remember that hey, when we had those big guys, and we were told this years ago that hey, we are going to start seeing smaller guys after the whole cut down on the steroids. Um, we knew we knew that was coming. Um, Now with that being said, um, so one thing we talked about offline Miami was about this was a couple days ago about cruiserweight. We don't have a cruiserweight title anymore. We don't have a cruiserweight division anymore. They basically fizzled that out after they got rid of 205 Live. Yeah, we had speed, but really 205 Live was the cruiserweight division. The problem that I feel like now, and this is where it gets a little bit dicey, because I feel like now that you say that, hey, I don't think that Joe Henry is a big guy physically. I feel like he might, that that's the case. And I feel like he's kind of like in that middle for me. But I feel like if that's the case, and I have to look at him again, I feel like if that's the case, it's because of his weight class and where we are as far as what we have for titles. Because let's be honest, back in the day we had a cruiserweight title. Now, if you are a cruiserweight, you're either going in a couple directions. If they really like you and they believe in you, well, hell, then, they might give you a title push, or they might put you with Danhausen. Sometimes they might put you with the bloodline for whatever reason. If they semi believe in you, they might give you an IC title run. If they don't really believe in you, they put you in a tag team. And the reason why I bring that up is because you have these guys like a Ricky Saints, like possibly Joe Henry. I look at him again to be sure, but like also your JD McDonough and Dom, who kind of feel lost in the sauce, and I feel like it's because they don't have the cruiserweight division and title anymore. And when it comes to Dom, they have literally did everything that I just spoke of. They gave him the IC championship. They gave tag team championships, and now he's in AAA. There is nothing else for him to do, you know, WWE wise with Dominic. Now, ideally, the next face of him is because, hey, he is good. We'll have him go for the main card. I mean, the main card title, the WWE Undisputed Championship, WWE Championship. However, he's here. He's here as a fish in a sea of other big guys, because you have John Cena is retired, so that's one big guy out. But you also have your CM Punks who was still there, a champion. You have your Roman Reigns, of course, was champion. You have your Cody who's going for a championship, and you have Seth who's also going for championships as well. Those are the guys you have. So until they feel like Dom is in the league of those guys that I just mentioned, that's his placement on the card. Why? Because Dom is a smaller guy. We haven't really heard him cut too many promos like that. I mean, we have, but have you really heard him cut a real solid promo that we were talking about like the next day? The answer to that is I can't remember it being the case. No. So that's the limit. And I know it came out that Don was very frustrated about his booking. Well, the difference between you and, your fictitious dad, the late great Eddie Guerrero, and of course, Rey Mysterio's his actual dad, his biological dad, um, allegedly, allegedly, is that, hey, yes, Eddie was champion, and that's what he was built to be. But you had others, well, we had the old school WCW, uh, Rey Mysterio. But WWF, WWE, Rey Mysterio is a lucha with the mask, and like Dom said, he didn't want to be a lucha. He just wanted to be just Dominic Mysterio. He just wants to be a regular wrestler, which is fine. Just like how Eddie was. Eddie was not a luchador. Chavo Guerrero was not a luchador. But hey, Chavo Guerrero, like you pointed out, yeah, he was part of the cruiserweight division. I believe he did win the cruiserweight title. We don't have that anymore. So where can you really go from here? Where can Ricky Starks really go from here? And the answer would be United States Championship or IC Championship for Dominic. He already got one of those, and that was the IC Championship. So when it comes to building, it's like where these guys fit, and that's why we have this kind of weird booking where it's not going anywhere. Like, hey, the reason why Judgment Day is still around is because you got two guys, JD and Dominic, who would fit in that category. Technically, Finn Balor too, but he's because he's on the shorter side, but he's muscular, and we know years ago he was pushed. He was champion, got injured, 24 hours had to get the title back up, and then they switched him on a different brand, and now he's getting that push. It looks like he's gonna push again. But before then, there was no place to put him, and that's kind of where we are. Um, and unfortunately, I feel like Joe Henry is kind of in that realm as well, because Joe Henry, to me, possibly is on that cruiserweight side. So what can we give him? United States Championship, IC Championship. I feel the same way also about LA Knight, because LA Knight, we had the same thing. We had him go for United States Championship. We put him in the bloodline a little bit. So he's fitting his place. And you might say, hey, well, he's a muscle guy, but yeah, LA Knight also is a shorter guy. So for me, possibly on that cruiserweight side. Also, hey, there is some talks about him backstage about him not being a great wrestler because he botches a lot, which he does, and on the mic he also has a lot of hiccups on the mic as well. And to be honest, I mean, he should be in a better place than that because he's been wrestling for a long time. I remember him in TNA being Eli Drake. Um, and he's also on the upper side as far as age, because he's in the 40s as well. So you're kind of on that tail end of your career. You should be a lot better off, and it's how far you have progressed and how many years. That's probably the progression that you're going to be as far as in ring ability or mic ability. Um, so yeah, Raw was bad holistically overall, but it's also because of this is what they got to work with, right? Now we're gonna talk about the Oba and Brock stuff a little bit because that could have been way better, the segment. But same thing with the Roman and Seth stuff. That could have been way better too. I don't feel like it gave me that oomph that I would expect it to have for those superstars on the go home show of a main PLE. But this is what WWE has to work with. Now, is it their fault? Absolutely, because they should have been building these stars. Joe Henry should have been pushed right after he had the match with Randy Orton during WrestleMania. Ricky Starks also should have been also pushed uh right when he came in from AEW, when he was big and being shown in the crown in NXT. They should have put trigger on him early. They should have put him to their main roster pretty quickly. If they wanted to give him that oomph. We can go on about Braun Breaker because Braun Breaker, hey, he was the next big guy, and now he kind of feels a little bit lost. But a lot has to do with booking, but also with his injuries as well. Because one thing we don't want is for him to he has two injuries, or since he's joined the division. Because you imagine him being a world champion and then having those kind of injuries. We'll be the same. We'll be in the same predicament that we are with Rhea, possibly having uh, an intermediate champion, or having him vacate a championship. And with TKO, when it comes to specifically, with men's, I don't think they can afford that when it comes to a champion.
Um, yeah. I don't know why your picture's not showing no more. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
I
Let's
see
get.
it.
Oh, I don't see it on my end. But hopefully it is showing. Let me. Well, no, it's not showing for LC either. So hey, okay. I thought it was just not me. But like I was saying, let's just get down to business. Like I said, I'm not trying to get canceled. I'm not trying to ruin any opportunities for
Oh
DWE
Lord.
and for future. I'm not going to do that. But with the Ryan Garcia stuff, is it's a bad taste. It wasn't something that should have not been put on TV. If you know, you know, go look it up. If you don't want to go look it up, it's things out there. Let's just start with that. The whole thing with this whole concert, it just made me cringe so much, so hard. Like I said, we got to call it how it is. I'm not going to sit here and praise. Yes, WWE is a entertaining company. I'm not going to sit here and crash out like JD and say F the kids because they love Danhausen, because at one point in time I was a kid and I loved the product too. But I just didn't like the entertainment side. I liked the wrestlers, the stories that WWE used to tell us.
But
Um,
so what you're saying is you didn't like the concert, is what you're saying.
no, it was horrible, Final Boss. Let's just
But
call it what
but
it is.
but but here's the thing though, is that when Joe Henry, did concerts, some of them, were good. And I
Yes,
think they
but
was
this
trying to
wasn't
build
one.
up that I know. But also remember we had years ago, or right, was it 2019-ish, we had the Elias concerts. We had, of course, when The Rock returned back, he brought back his concerts. So they was trying to live off that nostalgia, and it just didn't hit.
Well, when it comes to concerts, Final Boss, and I'm just gonna be real. One of the best ones they have done is you. I think we talked about it one time on one of our podcasts or one of our episodes was the one with Elias and Kevin Owens. They never did nothing with that. I mean, the heat that Kevin Owens and Elias got. Oh my God, they could have been popping the top heels of the company when they did that. I don't know if you remember that concert. That was one of them. I think the one before that, I have like that one's like my number two, and I have only one in the number one slot. And it's the one where The Rock did the whole concert, your favorite concert, where he at the end said, "What can I say? But you're welcome." I put that at number one. Those was maybe like the top tier ones. And this is the thing, like I said, we're gonna get down to it before SmackDown comes on because we're not gonna give everyone the bread and butter. We're gonna try to get everyone in here, but I think the main thing is that
Wait, so hold on. So you didn't like it when Elias had his concerts?
no, no, I'm saying no. Those was I
Mm.
love the Elias and Kevin Owens one. I love the one that, like I said, The Rock did where he cut the promo on Cody. I think those are like my top two ones I can think of right off the
And,
top.
and and the other thing is too, is I remember back in the day, all a lot of the WWE superstars had like a show segment style. Like you had the Piper's Pit. We
Hmm.
had the highlight reel, which was hosted by Chris Jericho. We had Miz TV, of course, hosted by the Miz. We had Ding Dong with Bailey when Bailey
Yeah.
turned heel. Who else? Am I missing any shows?
If you're talking about a segment like shows, you had the Chris Jericho, the Y2J, you
Well,
had his show,
yeah, I just said it.
you had
Well, that was the highlight reel,
yeah,
so I
highlight
got that
reel. You
one.
had did you say KO, the one that KO used to do?
Oh yeah, that's the one I missed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. KO's
The Miz,
one.
you had the Miz, you had his
I
show.
I I had that one. Miss TV.
Who else had one? I'm trying to think of right here off
Well,
the
I,
bat.
I I named like five of them, but yeah. So we
Yeah.
had segments like that. So really, when it comes to concerts, I kind of put that in the same realm as having one of those shows. It's very nostalgic. It's nostalgic if it's done, if it's done right. And I think it was supposed to be a big thing because on paper you have someone like like Joe Henry, who was funny and at one point, what was pretty big before they just decided not to cash in on him. You had Danhausen, who is super over right now. They're just overexposing him, unfortunately. And then we have the idea of this old school segment. So on paper, it should have been a good thing. You also had, of course, the comedy aspect, which is the mini housings, and then you had the mainstream aspect, was having a celebrity on, which is Ryan Garcia. So on paper, you check all them bullet points off. It's just delivery of it. The actual material was bad.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't good for me. Final balls. We'll get into what happened backstage here in a few. Like I said, I think that's just my final comments on it. I kind of cringed at it. It hasn't been good, but I mean the go home shows. I can't think of one go home show that has been good, but I think the last past two Raws has been so bad that I was thinking, well, okay, we might finally get one decent go home show, and come to find out that wasn't the case. And I know someone was like, well, y'all guys don't like nothing, y'all guys hate everything, but I'm just saying you got to call it what it is. It wasn't good. I mean, I haven't seen no one say, "Oh, this is the best thing," aside of WWE, but they supposed to do that. But I haven't seen no one say that this was the best thing on TV. I see people trolling it, people saying that stop doing it, stop promoting it. It's not good, final boss. That's just my final thoughts on it before we move to our next thing. Do you got any final thoughts, final boss?
No, I think it was supposed to be a big segment. I think it just didn't deliver. Like I said, it checked all the boxes. It just didn't deliver at the end. For me, and I feel like for you, and I feel like for majority of fans, it just didn't hit how it was supposed to. When they announced it a week before, I was like, it might be good. Because you had two comedy characters, doing something like this, but it just didn't deliver.
Yeah. Right after that, we had the announcement of the human money on a pole match. My God, what are we doing, final boss? What are we
Human
doing?
monies.
Um, I at this point, I don't understand. This should have been off. This should have been on the kickoff show. Pole dominate. I know a lot of people are hard on Dominic, but Dominic was getting the loudest boos in the company. When he won the IC title, he was getting cheered. They didn't do nothing with that. Um, at this point, send Dominic down to AA. Get him away from Liv. Get him away from the Judgment Day. Send him down there with his dad and let him dad book him. Let's just get Dom away from the Judgment Day because it's not working. It's not working. You're killing him. Get
But
JD
doesn't he
out of the
hold a
group.
title
Matter of
in,
fact, get the
AAA?
whole group. Let's just break the whole group up. Let's start there. Break the whole group up. It's been going for almost 4 or 5 years now. Break up the group. It's no point of it now. Just get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? There's no point of it. You teased it. It seems like you moved away from that. We're going to talk about the Raquel thing here in a few. But I mean, what's the purpose of this match? I mean, you did explain it, but it's like you could have gave someone else this slot. Yes, we know we took the title off of Soul Ruka. You have put Tiffany in the ladder match. How much everyone wants to say, well, it's because Rhea's being hurt. She is the Tiffany's the United States champion. You had her going against doing some stuff against
And
your
they,
girl, Blake Monroe. I mean, you could have
yeah,
gave
they
them
they,
that
they could
slot.
have put somebody else in that spot,
Yeah, you
right?
could have put somebody else in that slot. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. I digress. You got any thoughts about this human money on the
There's a
pole
there's
match?
a there's a Jordan Grace sitting right there. But I thought
Well,
we moved on. Well,
they're
I
saying
thought
they
we
don't
moved
know what
on
they
from
want to do with
that.
her creatively.
Um,
So
I know. But I thought we moved on from the JD stuff. I already said it. I spent 45 minutes saying it. Like, hey, the reason why that group is still around is because there is no placement for them. It's either they're in the tag team division or they're going for IC championships. WWE does not see them as a main card guys. So that's where we are stuck at. There is no more cruiserweight division. It's either you're a main star guy, you're a tag team guy, or you're in the lower mid card. That's where we are.
I guess. Put him in the mid card. Solo. Let's get
Yeah.
speaking of
Well,
Judgment Day final ball.
technically, no, because they already did that with Dominic because they gave him they gave him the IC championship. We
Well,
already done that.
he was still in the Judgment Day though. It wasn't by
Well,
himself.
that's because we had JD around. That's because we had Finn Balor around. What we're gonna do with those guys?
Well, I don't know. They could have did something with him. Speaking of IC champion, this Monday we got crowned a new IC champion. I don't know how true it is. Is Soruku is really injured? I don't know. But Raquel Rodriguez finally wins her first single title final boss on the main roster. Congratulations to her. I was very shocked about this. Very surprised. I feel like the things that Becky and AJ did for this title, I don't think Sol Ruka really served this title any justice. Let's hope they do something with Raquel when it comes to this title. I don't know who they will have her defend against, because we're lacking on a lot of ladies. We're going to get into some picks here soon about what we think the directions they're going to go with, far as SummerSlam. But I mean, congratulations to Raquel. We'll have to see what direction they're going to go with her final balls. I'm happy for her. I wish they would put her by herself too. I wish they would have started pushing her when they did the big sexy stuff with her, because it was catching on and it kind of have cooled down with her. Now we're back with this. Will they bring it back? They need to. But I say this is another person they can put by
The
themselves.
problem with the big sexy stuff is that she was getting that push when she was going against Nikki Bella, who ultimately got injured. Because remember, she got injured the first time when she had the issues with the breast. And now then the last injury, of course, was the ankle. But in the mix of that, she returned. Brie Bella returns shortly after, so of course we're gonna have that. So they're doing tag team stuff. They're over there on SmackDown, and then also the big sexy stuff also had to do with Stephanie Valkyrie. But what happened was we got Stephanie Valkyrie versus Liv Morgan. So you couldn't have Raquel intertwined in that because she's in a group with Liv Morgan, so she kind of had to step back to allow Liv Morgan to take on Stephanie because it was going for the for the title. Now, of course, Liv Morgan is your champion. They're still in a team together, so you really can't have her have that push again because of that, because of Liv Morgan. So I mean, so I kind of understand why they pulled back on it a little bit. You would have to turn her, to have her have that big momentum again because Liv is champion.
Yeah, that's true. Like I say, we'll see where they go with this. We don't know yet. They didn't give us no indication of where they're gonna go. Like I say, I'm gonna say my thoughts about what they should do with this whole booking and stuff like that. But let's get to some good stuff that I did like about what they have been doing, and that's Solo. Treating Solo as a babyface. That might be one of the best things they got going into SummerSlam final boss. He's getting a great crowd reaction. I've been seeing a lot of
Oh,
people.
so before you go to the solo stuff, man, the kind of touch on the Soul Ruka, Raquel, and I talked about Raquel. I didn't get a chance to talk about Soul Ruka, and I kind of want to touch on it just for a
Okay, go
little
ahead.
bit.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
When it comes to Soul Ruka, man, when she first came up to the main roster, everybody knows, hey, I don't watch NXT and don't plan to. I don't have the time, nor do I have the interest. I mean, the hell, the main product is bad. I don't want to watch the secondary product. Um, but the whole thing is, you know, when she first came up, man, I was super excited. She had a really great look to her, a really different style of like a real different like gimmick. I would say she had this whole like uh, catch the waves, Niley like kind of gimmick. It was different. It wasn't a little rock star gimmick like like a Paige or anything or like a Stephanie Valkyrie. Or, it was a different look, a different gimmick. Um, so I liked it. And she also looked really good as well. Nice look to her, a tall girl, slender, somewhat also built. um but then she had a couple bosses, a little oomph there. And she had like this weird character build where the whole thing was she was good but not good enough. So they had like on a losing streak, so they had her like on this underdog style of booking. Um, and then now, I'm like, well, maybe the whole thing is, she's the ultimate underdog, which she was, and won the IC championship. But, seeing her more and more, it's really starting to show off like, hey, she ain't ready. Like, I know she's only been wrestling for apparently, I think 5 years in the ring, but she's not ready. Like, the more I see her, have matches, I'm like, yeah, she's just not there yet. And the fact they're gonna pick her up when they had her with that weird underdog gimmick where she was good, not good enough, and she was losing a lot, and it just didn't hit for me. Um, and the vibes it gives me is it gives me old school Tiffany vibes. Like when Tiffany was first called up, we were so excited to see her be called up. She was the next big thing. We really, really wanted her to win the Money in the Bank, which she ultimately did, but we really want her to win it and have a pink briefcase. We really wanted to see her versus Charlotte Flair because their in ring was so similar at that at the time, and Ric Flair, not Ric Flair, but Charlotte Flair was out, at the time with a serious knee injury. And then Charlotte Flair finally came back. We finally had the match between those two. The chemistry was terrible, besides when they went off script, which we all remember that. And then the match itself was just no chemistry. It just wasn't there. It didn't look good for Charlotte. It didn't look good for Tiffany. We saw Tiffany fight more and more in ring. We started to fizzle down off Tiffany, just like, man, she's not as good as what we thought she was. So we started seeing her have more matches. And of course, I feel like she has improved. Since then, this was almost like 2 years ago. But initially, that's how it was, and that's the same vibes that I'm feeling about Sol Ruka.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. Hopefully, like you said, Tiffany's got better. Hopefully, the same route will go for Soul Ruka. We'll have to see. Um, like I said, in NXT, I've never seen her like this. She was pretty decent in NXT, maybe because it's more people and the lights are bright, maybe it's things like that. Maybe
Different
she got
opponents.
yeah, different opponents. It could be things like that. So we'll have to see. Hopefully, I feel like she got it. She's not a bad wrestler. She never gave me that vibe when she was in NXT. So I know she has it. It's just I guess she's got to just figure it out once she gets on the main roster. But like I said, I like the whole thing they're doing with Solo Sikoa, Final Balls, making them look like an incredible babyface. We need most of babyface. This might be one of the decent bookings they are doing with someone on the roster, Final Balls. Hopefully they don't mess it up. But hey, I don't call it WWE no more, guys. I call it TKO because this is what it is now. It's not WWE no more. It's TKO. It's their company. It's not WWE. I'm not putting the blame on WWE. I'm putting the blame on TKO. But hey, so far so good. You have any thoughts about what they're doing with Solo and his do you feel like that they're doing a good job with the babyface front? Do you see him as a babyface Final Balls? Give me your thoughts.
No, I don't. I do like it, but I don't think we've seen a very face just yet. I think it's gonna take some more build, some more time for Solo. I did like him making fun of the pew pew, the warning shot stuff. Because one, it's cringy with the Usos doing the warning shot stuff. Secondly, we got your warning shot, Jay, when you were over there facing Opa Femi and you lost. So the warning shots is missing. So I do like them doing that. Um, with Solo. And I feel like, with consistency in the right booking, I feel like Solo can be a good baby face. It's also good to see him take a different step because we've seen heel Solo, right? That's pretty much all we've seen. But technically it is a new direction, right? So let's watch it play out.
Yeah. Let's see how it plays out. It's up to WWE. So they have the ball in their hands. Let's talk about Brock Lesnar and Femi, the weigh in. I'm surprised Final Boss did not like it. I actually liked it. This was maybe the best thing that happened for me when we started off. It gave me attitude vibes. I loved the way well Paul Heyman mic wasn't working. Um they was having technical difficulties, but hey, WWE has technical difficulties. We're doing good because sometimes we have them too. So we're not mad at you about that, WWE. But you know, Paul Heyman did Paul Heyman things. He did his promo for Brock Lesnar. I love the way Over and Brock was like, yelling at each other, screaming at each other. You had Obafemi beating up the officer. I did see the clip where Obafemi told the officer he's sorry because you speaking of someone getting kicked hard. Obafemi kicked one of the officers hard and said he had to apologize and he said sorry when he was in the ring to Triple H and the guy who was he did do the actual kick on because I guess he hit the guy a little too hard. But I liked this Final Boss. I liked the back and forth. I love when Over said, "You're not in the cage. I'm not in the cage with you. You're in the cage with me. You're locked in here with me." I love that. You heard Brock Lesnar what he said to Oba. He shot the birds at him and said, "I like that, you bitch." Um, and and said that's what I want, and walked up the ramp. I was like, "Oh man, this gives me." I was like, maybe Raw's going to start off at a great start. I have noticed that a lot of people have said Obafemi weight is dropping down. It does look like he's dropping weight. Someone must have been listening to DW Radio because Final Boss has clearly said that long as he gets his six pack in, he'll be okay. And it seems like he's starting to work on that. So shouts out to you, Obafemi. This is one of the matches I'm looking forward to, Final Boss. What's your thoughts about the weigh-in of the Brock Lesnar and Obafemi? Was it good? Was it bad for you? Because it was good for me.
I would have liked to see a more interaction between him and Brock. I would have liked to see Brock actually do the actual weigh-in, like in the cage. Um, and then, the reason why, we got, the bird and, this is what I want the flick off is simply because, hey, Brock Lesnar he said a few promos ago, like, hey, the reason why I got Paul Heyman is because, hey, I'm not a talker, man. I'm more about action. I don't feel the best promo. So that's your typical, Brock Lesnar promo. Um, I like the idea of the cage coming down. Of course, we're gonna have Triple H because anytime there's something to do with Obafemi, I feel like Triple H is kind of like somewhat nearby for some reason. Um, so there's that. I don't know if he just sees him as being just really the next big guy and he wants to be a part of it, or if he just missed kind of being in the ring. That I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I have noticed that too, Final Boss. I think it's just because
Mm-hmm.
Oba is just the next big thing. It seems like they're real,
Okay.
real high on Oba. I mean, my God, it was a point in time, Final Boss. I was at one point, I was thinking that Breaker was going to be at the point. And like I said, I do agree with you on the whole thing of him being injured a lot. Maybe that had something to do with it. I mean, yeah, that could be part of it, Final Boss, but I feel like still, especially with the unreal stuff of him still maybe winning the Royal Rumble and he was the decision. I think fans are still um kind of broken hearted over that. Like I said, I'm pretty much I wrote some notes about how Raw was cringy celebration segment, countless video packages, which we all know, week promo segments, LA Knight doing interviews backstage. You had Rhea Ripley doing Raquel Rodriguez. You had her doing a video package. You had a ad break. You had a SummerSlam video package. You had celebrities ringside. You had a Chad Gable video package, a EO Sky video package, a Javon Evans. You had him do a match, and then you had an ad break. So that was pretty much practically Raw this Monday final balls. That was the practical of what we got. Like I said, I think here before we get into SummerSlam, because we got another hour before SmackDown, is WWE needs to hit the reset button. Final balls. Let's just call it what it is. If you want, I'm not saying, I'm not going to sit here and advocate someone needs to be fired. If Bruce Pritchard, um, Michael Hayes, and Triple H needs to step away from creative, and you need to fire the whole writing team. Um, do that. Tell Triple H, tell Michael Hayes, tell Bruce Pritchard, they need to step away from creative. Fire the whole writing team, and let's start over, man. Bringing Vince McMahon back is not going to do nothing. I mean, y'all gonna bring him back. I mean, hopefully he's just an on-screen character, but him writing is not going to help. You need to start doing. We need to get back to telling stories. Build your new stars. Build them. Tell us why we're interested in them. Make this be one of the compelling characters that they are. Tell us why we should like Soul Workers. Tell us why we should like uh, um upcoming Lola Vice because she's coming up. Live Raquel, which I'm not liking her new gimmick. I don't like her new look. You could have turned her heel and just gave her a new look. You got her out here looking like Nikki Cross. I don't like that look. I don't think it's going to get over. I'm very concerned about her because it's not getting over, especially now they have put the title on Raquel. You have these, and I understand that injury happened. I know things happen. You can still make story make sense even if someone gets injured. Let's stay on the path that you're telling us. Stop making it confusing. Stop throwing things at the wall. It was a point where Final Boss told me, if you watch highlights, you will be so lost with the product, you wouldn't know what was going on. And you're making it difficult for the fans that don't already understand the product already. Make it simple. Let's do this stuff. Even with the bloodline stuff, I don't feel like the bloodline, and as much as I love the bloodline, it's not where it should be at. Hopefully after SummerSlam, they start building up. I see Roman is scheduled to go all the way up to Money in the Bank. What that will look like, I don't know. I'm really interested on seeing the direction they want to go with that. Are they going to do something with that? Let's build up this Money in the Bank with some of these stars. I know you got a breaker that seems like he's so over the vision that it's not even funny no more. Let's get this guy out the group, give him a chance. I mean, of course, I know he's always injured, but still, let's give the guy a chance. You can have two stars on the same um show and build them up. Final balls. That's my thoughts about what I feel like what they need to do after SummerSlam. You have any thoughts before we get into some picks and about SummerSlam final balls?
I mean, SummerSlam all about Raw.
I mean, I'm saying, do you got any thoughts about? I mean, my bad. You have any thoughts about Raw? My bad. Before we start talking about SummerSlam, that's on me. My bad. You have any thoughts
Um, I
about
mean,
Raw?
I, I mean, overall, I think as a go home show for one of their biggest TLEs, it did not deliver. Um, I, I felt like, hey, it would have been a big show based on, hey, we knew that we were going to have the weigh in for Brock and Oba. I feel like it could have been, I felt like it was going to be a big show. We knew we were going to have Seth and Roman there. The issue between the Seth and Roman stuff is because we kind of the same stuff we got the previous week as far as the promo. Um, but Roman grabbed the chair. So, but I'm like, I know you're a big fan of it. But man, I'm tired of y'all been playing around with this shit for over 12 years since the turn. Like, okay, he did it. I mean, great. It was a surprise. It was a great moment. Okay, great, cool. Well, do you remember why why we're doing such that shock thing with the Shield? Was because, CM Punk had just left. Like, like, um, but, um, the thing that I didn't like about it is that when they started brawling, they cut the feed. And I was like, well, I think the idea was to create the whole crazy attitude era where, things go haywire and they just end the feed and you're like, oh my God, what happened? Can't wait to next week. Can't wait till the next thing will be, in this case, SummerSlam. But man, I didn't like that. The rest of Raw wasn't great. And then when we got to the closing segment, when they started brawling, the segment ended.
Yeah. When it comes to Roman and Seth, um, you know, I- this is a company that told us we had once in a lifetime. I bring it up because it's one of Final Boss's favorite matches because it has us husbands in it. It had a husband in it. We was told
Hmm.
that John Cena and The Rock was going to do this once in a
Well,
lifetime
they,
WrestleMania. We never got to get to see him, which was good. It was actually in my hometown, Miami, where they first did it. The Rock won, your husband won. Um,
hmm
and right after that, Final Boss, we went on to the
well,
next WrestleMania, and we did it again. I was like, "What are
the
we
reason,
doing here?"
yeah, but you know what? Hey, couple things. Hey, when it came to, yeah, it came twice in a lifetime after that. But hey, we did WrestleMania in Vegas to, back to back.
Yeah, yeah.
We did do that. And on top of that, I mean, when it came to the once in a lifetime thing, remember, The Rock had got hurt. So then we did it again. And I think if we didn't do it again and he just kind of, and his last match that he had was him being hurt, I don't think The Rock would have ever returned. So it kind of, went, in our favor just because of that. Um, uh, And you had two big guys. I mean, you had The Rock and you had Cena. I mean, what else gets bigger like than that? I mean, hell, we're kind of seeing now with Obafemi. I mean, Obafemi and Brock. Obafemi super over. Brock, also, over. Because he's fucking Brock Lesnar. And here we are on their third match. Within the same year. You know, so that's out of the that's regular. Same thing with with the Seth and Rome. I mean, how long we gonna keep playing that same tune? We had Seth come out with wear the gear during the final boss rules match, which is one of the things that led to Roman losing the title. Okay, great. We had some more Seth interactions, way before that, in between that. Okay, and now here we are now, at SummerSlam having again, remember the original plan from what we found out was to have Seth and Roman for WrestleMania, but Seth got injured.
Hmm.
And that should have been done years ago. That whole Seth and Roman match should have been done right after he lost the title to me. Why wait 2-3 years later? What was it been 2 years, 3 years? Um,
Yeah.
which would have been this WrestleMania. So that too. Um, and we're solely going off of a turn that happened like 12, 13 years ago. And remember, they did reunite for a short time. They reunited shortly before Dean Ambrose left the company. Before he went to AEW, became John Moxley. They had that short Shield reunion. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I was a big fan of that, by the way. So and here we are, again, with this. We also had the whole Seth thing. When we had the whole what was the Seth and Punk and Roman when the favor and all that stuff. Like, we've had all this before. And so here we are again. So and
Well, I
and
think
and, and they're go ahead.
no, I think this is something Final Balls, and you made some great points, and this is where I say they telling us that this is the final one that it needs to be, and you're explaining the reasons why. You're laying down the foundation. You're giving us
Well,
the
no,
if you was
they're
making a case,
man,
if I was
man,
judge,
they're
I
man,
would
they're
say you
saying
making a
that.
case.
Well, they're saying it's the final one just because they're both getting older now, and there's a lot of new guys
Yes,
in
and
town.
and I hope well. Let's hope that is true. Which I mean, that is true. There have been these two. Even if you want to add Moss in there, if you want to put Moss in there, I can't not think Moss is not in a part of their story because he was part of the Shield. with all three of these guys,
Well, tell
they've
WWE
done
that
the
because
best they've
WWE
done.
done edited most of that parts out, man. So
Well,
hey,
I mean, I
according to
understand that, but
WWE, it
let's
was two
call it what it
guys.
is. Let's just call it what it is. These guys have done the great things in their career, even if it's all, even going by themselves. I mean, when you think of groups, there's not a lot of people. I can think, well, maybe what NWO. I mean, those
Hmm.
guys have came, when they went solo, they still became something right after. So there's not a lot of groups. When you think of a group, when they break up, it's only a few of
Well,
them that you be
yeah,
like, all right, I
yeah.
remember this person. This person had
The
it. You don't
Nexus
remember
is a
like,
good example of that. The Nexus,
well, Nexus, but
Spirit
see how
Squad,
many people was in the Nexus though?
a
It was
lot,
like a lot, exactly.
a lot.
When
But
you think of the Shield, these are three guys, and you think back and you're like, man, all of them have really set the standard of, you can't say nothing
uh,
really bad about them.
no,
Can
you
you?
can't. Well, yes, you can because one, when they broke him up, Dean Ambrose always felt like the guy that was on the lower end of that solo run.
And
You know, we
and
had the
and
dirty.
and and,
We
and
had
that
the
is
dirty
true.
deeds.
Exactly, but
Okay, so
for
there's that.
WWE,
We never
but
felt him being, I don't feel like he was, he caught the big momentum after it. Then Seth Rollins, yeah, he was the big guy after that. He joined the Authority and all this stuff, which was sorry with the turn. But then we also had Roman be the big dog, which I like, but the booking did kind of turn left. Well, it did turn left, and he didn't become that big star until he came out with the tribal chief stuff, had the table stuff, which took him years to come after with. So no, you really can't say that.
well, you well,
Yeah.
and this
Mm.
is the thing about it. We can say that because look at how many championships these guys have won, and we're talking about major titles. These guys have main evented,
Yeah,
especially
yeah, you
Roman.
can.
I mean, they always
Yeah,
say that
they
Roman's
they
got this
have.
many.
They have, but guess what?
Mhm.
Roman's only going for, hey, when the last time you seen Roman win any other title besides the major title? Have you seen him run a tag team title? Have you seen him run,
No,
IC championship or United States championship? Hey, when it comes to Seth, Seth is kind of, yeah, he did have that really good stuff as far as speaking of Rollins, Monday Night Rollins, the Messiah, and all these
mhm.
different characters, but he also kind of fell down the card pretty hard too. So we had that. As far as John Moxley, I believe John Moxley, yeah, he did win the championship, but I think he only won it what once.
I think
And then
if I'm not
I
mistaken, I
remember him
think
winning it once, and he had
he won
the
it.
undisputed at that time,
I
and
want to
then
say once or twice, maybe.
yeah.
I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised
and
if
then
he won
shortly
it twice.
after that, reunite, and then off the AEW, he went to do
Mhm.
other great things. So I mean, no, not really. And hey, let's be honest. Once if Seth does not win, this weekend, if we think Seth gonna
Mhm.
go, then they don't give him Cody. If
No,
Cody wins,
no. Well,
or give him Punk, if Punk
no.
retains, no, he's gonna go right back to the mid card.
Well, okay. So we're saying Jacob has fell down to the mid card then. So Jacobs is now a mid card.
Yes, 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 yeah, yes, he has.
Even after
Jacob, ha-
even after
Jacob
everything that
hasn't felt.
happened.
Jacob has not felt like a big deal since the him and Roman match.
That's not good then, because that's I
Well, yeah,
mean what they indicated to us is that's the next match, and I'm thinking well that and this is why I say I wish whatever plans they had for the bloodline they should have did it back whenever they had the plans because I'm not saying it's not working right now for me, not yet. I don't know if they're slow cooking it, if that's what your term you want to say. If everybody wants to say, "Well, sit back and watch greatness," okay, cool. I mean, I'm cool because I will admit later on down the line when I'm wrong. But guess what? I will sit here and tell you, I'm pretty sure when I say that, it's going to be Final Boss's husband entering into the chat. That's probably when I'm going to say it because it's crazy that's what we might need. Now, can it happen when Zilla comes? Maybe, but the booking has been so bad with WWE that I'm not afraid of them messing it up when The Rock comes because The Rock is not going to let them do that. That's number one. But that's just my thoughts about it. Final boss about this Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns stuff. Like I say, I'm very looking forward to seeing how this match is going to go, how these guys are going to go at it. Um, any last thoughts before we start giving our predictions to the people here? We have at DWE Radio.
Um, no.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. Let's get into SummerSlam Final Boss Night One. Let's go ahead and get to some matches. I think we'll start off with the match that we feel like will start us off, and that's Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. It's a Hell in a Cell match. Final Boss. I have Oba Femi. I feel like this should be the last match between these two guys. I don't think Brock is retiring because they haven't gave us that indication. Maybe he could be one of those guys that just leave and don't. He doesn't like that whole doing the send off and video things. He doesn't give me that type of feeling. So maybe it could be his last one and done. We don't know. Because he has already gave us that WrestleMania. This one might be just him walking off and never coming back. We have seen some wrestlers do that, so maybe we'll see that from him. But I will take Oba Femi for the win here, Final Boss. Who you have for Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi? Is Final Boss there? Oh, I guess we lost Final Boss. Do you hear me, Final Boss? Okay, she might be busy. Let's go to before we get her back. Let me go to the comment here. Shouts out to you, Nightmare underscore King 851. Thank you for commenting on us on YouTube. Please go hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and go like some of the videos that we have and comment. Keep commenting to us. We really appreciate you for commenting to us on YouTube. Nightmare King said, Hunter loves to end SummerSlam with a surprise. Who do you think we will be surprised of this year? Um, I and it could be something for night one and night two. I could maybe see a returning Stephanie Vicaire, maybe returning back because whoever wins out of Liv Morgan and EO, they need some more females bodies. I would not be surprised we see a Becky Lynch. She has been going for quite some while. I think people have really kind of forgot about her. And I think that will be surprised. I don't think no one will suspect Becky Lynch to come back. So maybe a Becky Stephen Vicaire for the women's side. Um, Men's side, we probably see a Randy Orton. Um, from what I'm seeing, I guess KO is good. I guess he's cleared. Maybe KO, but I don't think he's coming back SummerSlam right now because the whole thing that's going on with Punk right now. So I don't think he will come back just not yet. Um I can't think of anyone else nightmare outside of those guys. I mean someone with a big pop uh who I would love to see. I can't think of no one because it seems like everyone is there. Maybe I would say I would love to see a Bronson Reed, but the Vision's not even on the card. And I don't see them even getting interfering in no one's match unless they just do something just to interfere. But who would that be? I don't know. Um, so I don't know. It'll be great to see maybe Randy or KO adding some more heels, giving some more people for CM Punk. You could give that SmackDown because SmackDown needs a lot, man. SmackDown needs some more stories and things like that. So we'll have to see what goes on with that as my co-host stepped out the studio right quick. We'll keep this show rolling. Let's give a couple shots out here, a few minutes on here on DWE Radio. Welcome to DWE Radio, the radio that's not on the radio, where you can catch all the shows like EVP recaps and After the Slam podcast, and you can catch the rundown and the queens of WWE. And guess what? We have sports. We have my EVP and Miami NFL recaps, and we have inside the NFL mind recaps. Inside the NFL mind recaps, inside the NFL mind of Miami on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where you can catch me until the NFL season starts. But you can catch me on that. So we have the sports side too. So how you go catch all those shows? You go hit that follow button on the Talk It Up podcast on YouTube, where you can catch most of our shows on YouTube, or you can catch us on X. That's DWE TV on X, where all of our shows go live. You can catch Monday. You can catch the rundown. We start off Monday with the rundown with Kyle, the man, Anthony, and Greg, where they give you the card rundown. Catch those guys 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where they run down the Raw card before Raw comes on. It's a 1 hour show. So give those guys a follow and check those guys out on the rundown. Right after when Raw goes off, you can catch the EVP recaps for Raw recaps, where he will give you his thoughts and recap everything that happened on Raw. If you missed Raw, guess what? Come into the EVP recaps and he will tell you everything that goes on. Then Tuesday, we start everything off with Inside the NFL Mind with Miami. You can normally catch me at 6 o'clock p.m. Before the NFL season, but what will be replacing that show once the season start will be the EVP and Miami's NFL recaps. We will be coming on the same time at 6 o'clock. But while Inside the NFL line is on, I will be discussing some teams. We'll be looking at some minicamp footage. We'll talk about schedules. We talk about bets on there, and many more things. We talk about news, trades, and things like that. So if you guys like sports and football, come over there. And coming soon, May will be talk about it will be some baseball. CJ will be doing some baseball for next year, where he'll be doing some morning shows for baseball. So get ready for that. And we will be doing um NBA too. So you guys get prepared for that for NBA. I will be probably doing some NBA talk. So get ready for that. Never know. So stick around for that. Those will be things that will come on. And on Wednesday, you catch the hottest show that there is that I feel like DWE has. I gotta give this guy a pat on the back. It's Queens of WWE with Calderman Anthony, where he will talk about Raw women, NXT women, SmackDown women, just giving you his thoughts with his co-host CJ EVP. You can catch those guys 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the late night show. He's on that late night show. Then Thursday, we're kicking it back off with me inside the NFL mind of Miami, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I will be discussing NFL. And then later on that night, CJ will be doing right now. He's doing Big Brother for the recap. So he's doing Big Brother recaps. A great show that he got going on. That comes on at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Friday, normally, sometimes Friday you can catch After the Slam. If you don't see him Friday, then don't worry. We have another Friday show that comes on, and that comes on right after SmackDown. That's EVP SmackDown recaps, where you can catch um CJ's recaps. And normally on Saturday, you can catch this show here, DWE Radio. But this Saturday we have a PLE Saturday and Sunday. You might see us go. You might see me go live, where I'll be doing a reaction for the SummerSlam, and we'll see how that goes. So join us for that. Just stick around and see. Are we going to do that? And Sunday we kick off Sundays with After the Slam podcast, a guy who always put in work, who kicks us off for every week, starts us off After Some podcast where he interviews a lot of any wrestlers, and they give you their thoughts and things like that. So great interviews that he do. And then right after that, if you love spoilers, guess what? We have spoilers for WWE. It is Sunday Scoops with CJ at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So give those guys a follow and give those pages a checking out. Check those guys out for as that. We do not have Final Boss back, so I will continue on my picks. Hopefully, she will back to give you her thoughts about picks. But like I said, I had over Femi. Let's start off with the next match. I think the next match will be the women's six women tag match. It's against Fatal Influence and the Bella Twins. I think Fatal Influence will win this because I think there may be a turn between the Bellas and Paige. I think they will let Fatal Influence win this match. I will be really surprised if they let the Bellas win. Give me Fatal Influence. I think Fatal Influence will win this match. The next match I think right after that will be maybe they will do probably maybe Nick Otis and Gunther. Right after that, I think Nick Otis will win this because it is weird they made Nick Otis step away from being the Raw GM general manager. Him losing this match will not make sense because what's the point of him becoming? I think he's going to become a wrestler right after this. So give me Nick Otis right after this. And then right after that, I think we'll get the bloodline, which is be the Usos and Jacob Fatu versus Solo Koa and LA Knight and Royce Keys. I'm going to take the Usos here and Jacob Fatu. I think they will overcome Solo and LA Knight. I think LA Knight and them will take the loss here. And I think this is how they will maybe keep building on to the story. It's way too early to start building onto war games, but who knows? I mean, this could be a couple seeds that they could throw in here early in time. So we'll have to see. I think who will be co-main eventing, I would think, will be Liv Morgan and EO Sky. Um, I'm not gonna lie, this will be the first time they have said it a couple times that this is Liv's first title defense. Um, she lost a match at Crown Jewel. I'm gonna go Liv Morgan here. I think I'm confident when she will win this match. I think they'll go 1-1. They'll probably run this match again between EO. I think this is where Raquel. I mean not Raquel, but Stephanie Valkyrie will return. I think she will return here, and this is how you get Stephanie and EO Sky and Liv Morgan in a triple threat match later on down the line. Maybe at Money in the Bank. Who knows? We'll have to see because it seems like Roman's defending his title at Money Bank. I kind of was used to wrestlers not putting their title on the line at Money Bank because I didn't want to cash in right then and right there. It gave me more of a suspense of not getting a cash in on that night. So we'll have to see if they go into Money Bank and do something with that. The main event will be CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. I think CM Punk will win. I don't think Cody will win this. We might get a returning Randy or a returning KO that will cause Cody and Punk will win. And that will end the night one for me. Night two for me, I think the opener for night two will be maybe Danhausen and Dominic Mysterio. Why else would it be? I think they will kick off this show. Give me Danhausen. I think there will be some interference. Of course, maybe they'll have the midgets. Maybe they'll have Joe Henry. Maybe come out. Who knows? You'll probably have JD Madonna come out. This might get really crazy, really wild. Who knows? Give me Danhausen. This is how Danhausen keeps his money. You know, it's a human money on a pole match. I think Danhausen will go over why this match is happening. Who knows? But hey, it is what it is. I think right after this we will get. Let me see, because I'm trying to see. I think we'll probably get maybe Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin. Trick has been on a great roll. Yes, Baron Corbin has just got back, but Baron Corbin did say that they would love um Carmelo Hayes to be in this match. If they're not going to add Carmelo Hayes in the ladder match, I really feel like WWE needs to um do a triple threat between Trick Williams, Baron Corbin, and Carmelo Hayes. The only reason why I have Trick in not in the ladder match, Money in Bank ladder match, because he's still. I feel like he will still be United States title. If you're going to take it off of Trick Williams, hey, it's time for him to move up to the main card title. Roman needs some people to face, especially after Seth Rollins. I mean, who he has facing? Maybe they will have him and Oba. Maybe maybe they'll have Oba and Roman face each other at Money in the Bank. Maybe that's the match they will do because Oba still has a title defense that he needs to do, and we have not had no indication or clue about when they're going to do Oba versus whoever he's supposed to be facing. So who knows? Um, the next match I think that will happen will be maybe they probably will do the um Finn versus Sami Zayn. This will determine who will be the number one contender for the undisputed title. I think it will be Finn Balor. I don't think Sammy will win this because it will only add on to his character. I don't think no one would interfere on here because yeah, you do have the MFT. They might get involved, but I don't see him getting involved in here because it seems like TKO has forgot about that story. But this is TKO. Who knows? They might bring it back, and maybe they'll let Sammy go over and run Sammy and CM Punk back. But I feel like the stronger story will be Finn versus CM Punk. This could be another match they could do at Money in the Bank too, because that will be the next PLE. I don't think they will do these matches for Saturday night's main event. If they do, I mean it is what it is, but I mean that will be a low ball. But we'll see. But give me Finn Balor. I think Finn Balor takes this win. Um the next match will be Penta versus Chad Gable. Even though they haven't built Chad enough. I mean, yes, the story's there, but I don't feel like the build up for him is there yet. I will take Chad Gable here. I'm really interested on seeing how they go from here. You still have a lot of stars that you can do. Like I say, this is part of one of the things that you can start resetting. Get this guy to the championship. Start getting this guy. So let's get some guys in the back. Going for the title. I know the first person people are going to say is Dominic Mysterio. No, let's. I mean, maybe do JD. Do someone different. Let's get a new face out there. Do a JD. Do some more people that's in the back. Ray Phoenix, where the heck is he at? So put him out there if you want to. Who knows? Why not? Let's get some more people, some camera time, and let's start building some more stars. WWE, especially when it comes to his title. I'm not saying Penta not did do well. He did really great defending his title. I need Chad Gable to do the same thing. So give me Chad Gable. The six women title, six ladder match. This is for the title that the women's WWE Women's Championship that someone's just going to hold until Rhea gets back. I'm pretty sure Lash is going to win tonight. I got Last Legend winning this because I would not be surprised because they probably want to go to do a powerhouse versus powerhouse for Rhea. Easy win for Rhea. Probably they'll have Last win that had the title for a while. Rhea come back and then Rhea will win. And then that's when you go to whatever story they was going to do for Rhea Ripley. So give me Last Legend. I think they'll probably say that Charlotte versus Rhea for maybe Saudi later on down the pipeline. Unless they want to put the title on Charlotte and then let Charlotte get the title on Charlotte, let Charlotte go for it again to just get tied up with her dad. Um, we'll have to see. I think Charlotte's not that type of person, and Charlotte's been the type to give the other women chances. So that's why I got someone who we'll not think of. Um, last and not least, we have Roman versus Seth. I got Roman Reigns winning this match clean. No one interferes for Seth. No one interferes for Roman. They just go at it one on one. Yes, we might get a a ref bump, but I feel like even if we get a ref bump, these two guys maybe they'll pick up chairs or do something crazy, and that's how that match ends. My co-host has not came back yet. Other than that, we don't not have a lot of comments. Shout out to EVP. He said, "What's up? What's going on, EVP?" Shouts out to you for stopping by before SmackDown comes on. Shouts out to Greg for retweeting the space. So shouts out to you. We did have Ari come on. He said, who else could it be than Division? I bet they were behind it. What exactly you're talking about? What was behind what? Um when you were saying that, Ari, um Ari, tell me who you which one you talking about, because we talked about so much stuff. We talked about the Joe Henry, Brock Lesnar stuff, and Seth and Solo Vacour. Um, man, the Vision had so much potential. Um, we was it was one point of this group I was thinking they could have been the Nate's evolution. They had that potential, and what they're at now. If you would have told me this was the direction when they first started, I would have laughed at you. How the ball is dropped on this group. Um, even though Final Boss has said that Judgment Day is a mid card um, group, and that's the reason why they got them still together. That's no excuse. I feel like that's not a good excuse. That's not good enough. You should have moved off from this group. This group is well past due, well done. You could have had a lot of more people for Liv Morgan to face, especially if you're going to keep the title on Liv Morgan. This is where you start doing some turns and start doing something. Give her some more people. Let her start defending this title. Let her defend it at main event. And then if you want her to defend it again at Money Bank, let her defend it. I don't care how much she says she's the greatest of all time, because she doesn't have to defend the title because that's her character, because she's a heel. You got to get her start getting some people and building some people and start building that title back up. Yes, I know you're probably a little afraid of her getting injured. That's why y'all probably do these matches at PLEs. That's what I thought y'all was doing it for, but I could be wrong. Who knows? When it comes to that, a lot of things tonight. I'm suspecting. I already can tell you guys that right off the bat, SmackDown probably is not going to be good. It hasn't been good for ages. Why would they turn the tables now? It's been SmackDown. Thank God that it's only 2 hours. Because I don't think we could bear a 3 hour SmackDown, especially the way they've been booking on SmackDown. It's been not good at all. I cannot think of one time it has been good yet. Um, I don't suspect it to be anywhere good. Far as what we've been getting. Um, so it's a lot of things they should do. I don't think they're going to turn Cody heel, because now it's reports that Randy and KO's coming back. So there goes your heels there. So Cody's pretty much probably going to stay face, because they're going to probably need some baby faces on the card. I think after this, one thing too, and it just has popped in my head. Um, Even though Royce Keys has been in a lot of matches, let's keep giving him in matches, keep putting him in crowds. I can give them credit on that. Um, with this whole Solo babyface thing, you got a lot of heels. Let Solo go against some of these um top heels, a Randy Orton, a KO. Let him get a couple wins over these heels that are coming back if you are bringing them back. Um, I haven't heard anything about Drew McIntyre. My God, we need him back. I feel like he's more better on Raw because yes, I know we're saying LA Knight is tied up in the bloodline, but one thing I can say about Drew is I like him more when it comes to the bloodline because he gives me more of a great feeling when it's him in the bloodline. When it's when it's LA Knight, it's just coming off as, and I guess maybe that's just the character and that's the way they want to go, but it's not giving me that same feeling with it. I mean, if they want to put Drew back on SmackDown, what how crazy that will be because Punk is champion. My God, what a way for him to come back. Maybe he'll cause CM Punk down the line, and that's how Punk loses the title. Who knows? Um, but we'll have to see. Like I say, that's some couple things they can do. Get Ricky Sinks back on TV because you got to get him back out there. I don't know if they're going to add Hayes. I'm pretty sure they're not. Um, it's crazy they're not. You kept Carmelo Hayes off of WrestleMania. You kept him off of SummerSlam. I don't know if it is heat on him. If it is, then man, I don't know what he did, but it's crazy. I mean, if the guy's been complaining about he's been booked, I mean, hey, it's true. WWE, you have not booked this man the correct way. You had the story there. Like I say, you telling us these stories and you're not capitalizing off of them. Capitalize on some of these stories you're telling. Um, that's one thing you have to do. It seems like they've took Yachty out of the whole conversation with Trick. I guess they're done with Yachty. I guess they can't continue to pay him no more of him coming out there. So maybe Final Boss loves that. Like I said, Yachty was doing pretty good there at the end. He wasn't doing too bad. I like the things that he was doing. He gave me a great manager edge. He gave me a Jimmy Hart type of feeling. So that's that. We're only 20 minutes out from SmackDown, guys. Tomorrow, like I say, is SummerSlam. Hope you guys do enjoy SummerSlam. Like I said, we did another episode of radio because, like I said, I wanted to just give my thoughts about what I felt about Raw. I did not like it. It was not one of the best Raws for me. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say, take Danhausen off because the kids don't need to see him. I'm not going to say that because I was a kid at one moment and there was things I wanted to see. But give us compelling stories. Give us some things that we can start sinking our teeth into. And we're getting into the month of where WWE starts cooling down. It's right around the corner. We know November and December we start cooling down, and we're already at the end of where it's already bad. Man, it's gonna probably get worse. So hopefully we can hit a reset button and just give us something decent. I think you can start taking this time to start building up, giving us a picture of what directions you want to at least start going for WrestleMania. Even though I know you're inside, you do feel like you don't have to bill it WWE because you're going to Saudi, the money's there, people are going to pay to see you. That's cool, but far as people watching it, viewer wise, you got to think about your viewership too. So that's things like that. But I mean, I'm hearing that they might going to start doing some weird stuff for SummerSlam. They're going to probably start trying to make this be something, that we didn't suspect. Um, I mean, who knows? I mean, of course, they love doing returns at SummerSlam, but I mean, are you going to capitalize off the momentum? You got to start getting it back. Triple H was only over this thing for maybe what 3 years. I think 3 or 4 years at the time. So, and it started off great, but now it's like, man. the train has ran off the rails, and we have to get back to what y'all was doing before the ESPN deals, before the Netflix deal. What you was doing at first was great when you first started off, right at the beginning. So maybe look for a format to go back to that direction again. We'll have to see. Like I say, guys, thank you guys for coming in, giving us a support. All those who came to episode 26. This is DWE Radio, episode 26. WWE is in the mud. You can check this episode out on Spotify. Episode 1 through 25 is now available on Spotify. That's DWE Radio on Spotify. Guys, go check it out if you want to catch up on anything or hear any of our thoughts about what we was thinking about WWE or things about booking, fantasy booking wise, go back and go to Spotify. Go check out the Spotify link. It is in the bio. You go hit that link in. It will take you to the Spotify, to DWE Radio, and you can get to it if you want to get to it quickly. You can catch episode 1 through 25 of the every episode. And like I say, if you are a new fan, you want to know the product, you want to get caught up or try to get a understanding, DWE Radio is the place to get most of that understanding. Shouts out to everyone. We cannot do this without you guys. Please tell your friends. Please tell everyone about us. We cannot continue to do this. This is how we keep the lights on with you guys. No, we're not getting a lot of people today because this is not our normal day. But thanks to all did come by before SmackDown came on. Check us out on YouTube. That's Talking Up Podcast on YouTube. Like, subscribe. Go over there, subscribe to us, give us a follow, give us a support over there on DWE, where we do all our stuff on Talking Up Podcast, and support us over there on the podcast. Also give us a support. We're live on Twitch. We have 2 Twitch pages. Doesn't matter whichever one you would like to support us on. That's DWE TV on Twitch, and we're DWE Radio on Twitch. Go over there and give us some a follow on Twitch. Hopefully I will have a gaming channel over there soon. I got to figure out how to do that stuff later on in the future. So hopefully we can bring some gaming and stuff over there on Twitch. So give us a follow on Twitch. Never know. We might just do stuff just only on Twitch only and not of the platform. So please give us a follow on Twitch. Follows us on our X page. That's DWE TV on X. That's our homepage where you can catch all of the DWE TV shows on X. And also give me a follow on Miami the Great 305 on X. And also catch my co-host, Final Boss Baby CFO. That's 2 B's, 1 Y, CFO all together on X. Please give her a follow. And catch us next Saturday. We probably will have a lot to talk about next Saturday. Hopefully this product can get better. Hopefully we'll have some better things to say. Maybe we will do a show early, but I'm pretty sure we'll probably do a show Saturday. That's normally at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time where we go live. Guess what, guys? We are out of here. Hope you guys go enjoy SmackDown. And always remember, when you see that DWE TV page go live, put your ones up in the comments. I did not see y'all do that today. You supposed to put up your ones, put up the blood sign, because you know what? There's only one DWE. There's no other. We're always imitated, always duplicated, but guess what? We're still here, baby. We're still putting up the numbers like we're Whip Chamber. So, hey, we're putting up the Whip Chamber numbers, and we're planning on to keep growing. We're not going nowhere. Sorry, guys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we're not going nowhere. We're planning on growing. And if you are planning on to be a affiliate or being with the DWE TV company, always DM me or Final Boss Baby and say you want to be part of the family, because we always welcome everyone into the family. We do not turn no one down. It's up to HR to turn you down, and that's Final Boss department. So if she turns you down, it's because of a reason. Other than that, guys, we are out, and always remember, there's only one DWE. We are out. Acknowledge me as the head of your table at DWE. We are